Greetings everyone, welcome to video number 29 in the project management series presented by Process Geekoid. Today's agenda will be going over reviewing the PMBOK process table as well as the 26th process, which is the control quality process. This process occurs at the intersection of the quality knowledge area and the controlling process group. As always, please subscribe, like, and comment. So let's move forward. So after planning for quality and then auditing all the steps taken to meet quality during the quality assurance process, the last step now is to have a walkthrough or peer review with the customer or end client of the project deliverable. Now this could be a product, service, or result that the customer is looking for. So previously we had discussed the quality assurance process, which is a proactive approach taken by the project team to ensure internal processes are followed to achieve the customer's desired quality in the product, service, or result. In contrast, in this process, quality control or control quality, this is a reactive approach done with the end client, where once a defect is found during the walkthrough or inspection, that means we as a software team, let's say in an IT project, as a software development team, will have to patch the software to mend the bug. This is not a desirable outcome as it indicates the process was not audited for gaps accordingly. So control quality is the next process after performing quality assurance. So now control quality is the process of monitoring and recording results of executing quality activities to assess the performance and recommended necessary changes. So the heart of control quality is that you are measuring quality of the product to make sure the product meets specs of the customer. So the ITTL's inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs for control quality process are shown here. For inputs, we have the project management plan. Then we have the quality metrics that we use to measure quality, quality checklists to make sure that we have a walkthrough checklist of making sure that all the specs are being met as we walk through the end result with the client. Then we have work performance data, raw observations such as plan versus actual technical, plan versus actual schedule, plan versus actual cost performances, where these are raw observations as a project has been undertaken. And then you have approved change requests, which is an output coming from perform integrated change control, and the customer is now verifying that the approved changes have been reflected in the end product, service, or result during the walkthrough. Then you have deliverables, which are going to be fed into the input because that's exactly what the customer is going to be verifying now. And then project documents such as contracts or agreements, quality audit reports, corrective action plans, training plans, and process documentation. Next input is going to be OPAs, basically organizational process assets that have quality standards and policies, standard work guidelines, issue defect reporting procedures, and communication policies. Next, for tools and techniques, we have the 7 basic quality tools, and these are cause and effect diagrams, and that's used to weed out the root cause, so taking the effect and going backwards to look at the root causes. And then you have flowcharts, which are used to identify bottlenecks in the process or any gaps. Then you have check sheets or tally sheets, which check off the items we need to complete, and also walking through the desired quality items that the customer is looking for in the product, service, or result. Then you have control charts, which are used to determine and make sure that we are creating a product, service, or result within a specification given by the customers. And Pareto diagrams, as we see here, are focused on the Pareto Principle, where we determine the most frequent occurrences of a problem, and the line in the diagram here shows that it is a cumulative adding up of the value. So basically you are trying to figure out the vital few and the trivial many. So basically that is the concept of the Pareto Principle, where we're looking at the vital few to focus on the majority of the problem and fix the majority of the problem by focusing on just a few of the root causes, thereby meeting the customer needs. That is the essence of the Pareto Principle. Then you have histograms, where you are showing the most frequent occurrences of a problem as a normal distribution using central tendency and dispersion, but no variations are shown within a distribution. The only way that you can see that is through an outlier that does not fit within a histogram. Then you have scatter diagrams, which are correlation charts that explain change in dependent variable y versus independent variable x, and they have a correlation coefficient of r. Anything closer to 1 basically means it's a tight fit. Less than 1 means it's not a tight fit and there's no correlation between the variables. Then you have statistical sampling as another tool or technique, and that is basically you don't want to plan for quality or control the quality, finding defects in the products on the whole population. You don't want to ruin all the stuff you've made, so you want to sample and take a subset, which is the sample, and choose that sample as part of the population of interest for the inspection. Next, inspection is also known as a peer review. It is also known as a walkthrough. So these three words are synonymous on the PMP exam. So anytime you hear the word inspection, peer review, or walkthrough, they're all the same. And it is basically where the end customer is inspecting and verifying to see if the requirements are met in the finished product, service, or result to their liking. Then we have approved change requests review. This is where the end client or customer is seeing if the approved changes that were made from perform integrated change control have been implemented in the end product, service, or result itself. Now the outputs are quality control measurements, validated changes, verified deliverables. This is where the customer has verified and given a check mark, A-OK, that everything that they're looking for has been verified and meets the quality standards that they're looking for. Now, work performance information, as always, in any controlling process group, 9 out of 11 controlling processes, we have this output. This is where we're taking the input work performance data and analyzing that raw observation and analyzing in context as to what that data means. So in this context, since the inputs were dealing with planned versus actual, schedule, cost, and technical performance, the information then is going to be this information analyzed in context to see how the project is progressing in terms of the cost and quality and what this means, the information that we want to give to our customer and sponsor and other stakeholders, which will be fed into the monitor and control project work process to give a report. Then you have change requests, which will be risen because suppose the customer did not like what we gave them, a change request will be risen, which will then be going into perform integrated change control to be approved or rejected, then goes into direct and managed project work to be implemented, then goes back into control quality to be verified. And that's how we got deliverables in our inputs, and we have to get them verified again. So until that cycle of getting approved and rejected is done, hopefully we have verified deliverables, which will finish off this process, and then we'll have a report to show for stakeholders that yes, the customer has signed off. And then you have project management plan updates. These are updates to the quality management plan and process improvement plan. Project document updates are updates to quality standards, agreements, or contracts, quality audit reports, training plans, and process documentation. Then you're updating OPAs, which are updates to completed checklists and lessons learned. So the key output that you'll be tested on is you will have validated changes and verified deliverables as your output. Because your input is deliverables, the output is going to be verified. Verified deliverables means that the customer is satisfied and is now ready to move on to the next step, which will be close project or phase, hopefully. So that's where we go from there. And essentially, that wraps up control quality. So the key benefit of this process is it includes the identification of the causes of poor process or product quality and recommending and or taking action to eliminate them, and 2, validating that the project deliverables and work meet the customer requirements and stakeholder requirements needed for final acceptance. Now this slide here shows the 7 basic quality control tools. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to understand what these are, so I'll go over them one more time. Cause and effect diagram is also known as a fishbone diagram or root cause analysis diagram or Ishikawa diagram. Basically, you're taking the effect and going back looking for the primary and secondary causes for that effect. Flowcharts are useful because you're going to look at the process as a whole and see where the bottlenecks and gaps are and improve upon those. Checklists or check sheets help us go through a checklist to make sure that we are meeting the quality that the customer is looking for. Control charts are basically internal tools that the project team uses to make sure that the process is within the control limits specified by the project team or by the customer, such as the specification limits. Then Pareto diagrams is basically using the concept, the Pareto Principle, vital, few, trivial, many. And basically we're looking at the few causes and maximizing fixing the problem by focusing on the few causes that make up 80% of the cause. And 20% of the causes would fix 80% of the problem. So fixing on the few will fix the majority of the problem. Then you have histograms and scatter diagrams. So that's the overview of control quality. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.